नमस्कार दोस्तों, होप यू आर फाइन एंड डूइंग वेल। यूनी एग्जाम्स IAS में आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है। जैसा कि आप लोग सब जानते हैं कि 5 जून 2022 को आपकी प्रीलिम्स की परीक्षा है। आज उसके एडमिट कार्ड आ चुके हैं और मैं आशा करता हूं कि आप सब ने डाउनलोड कर लिए होंगे। So in this regard, UniExams IAS have started the initiative of solving previous year questions of the very important subjects of the UPSC exams. So in this regard, I, Harshit Sharma, will be taking the Indian economy part with you guys. Okay, Indian economy is very important not just for prelims but also for prelims, mains and for your interview also. Why I'm taking Indian economy with you guys, we'll be discussing in the next 5 minutes. Okay, as you can see, from year 2013 till 2020, also 2000, except 2021, around 14 questions were asked. Before that, more than 25 questions has been asked by the UPSC from the Indian economy itself. So that for UPSC, it's a very, very important subject for you guys. Okay, this is about the last year. Around 14 questions were asked from 2021. Around 10 questions were of theory or conceptual nature. One question was of current affairs. Around 3 questions was of contemporary nature. Okay, what is contemporary nature? Contemporary questions are those questions which were current affairs, but they came in the news for the past 2, 3, maximum 4 years. These questions come under contemporary questions. Okay, if you look at the subtopics in the Indian economy, the favorite last year, the favorite was of the banking and finance. Different sectors of the economy, BOP, international trade, fiscal policy, one question, macroeconomics, one question. Okay, again, the next question. Why Indian economy is very important? Not just last year, for the past 10 years, if we can see. Okay, I'll discuss with you this later. Around 70 to 80 questions are of conceptual nature. Around 70 to 80%. That means if 20 questions come, 14 questions are of conceptual nature. If we solve past 10 years questions, total it comes around 200 questions. In Indian economy, we have around 100 concepts. So most of the questions indirectly or sometimes directly, these come under these 200 questions. They get repeat in these 200 questions. So that's why Indian economy part is very, very important for you guys to clear your prelims part. Last year, around 72% of the questions you can say it was easy. 21% you can say medium. Around 1 to 3 questions you can say it is of very tough nature. That's why Indian economy is a very important part. So guys, without wasting any time, let's start today's class. We'll be solving the Indian economy questions which came last year, 2021 prelims. Okay, the first question, the money multiplier in an economy increases with which one of the following? Option A, increase in the CRR in the banks, increase in the SLR in the banks, increase in the banking habit of the people, increase in the population of the country. Okay, this question, if you're conceptually clear, it is a very easy question. Okay, what is money multiplier? Money multiplier अगर हम लेमैन लैंग्वेज में डिस्कस करें तो मनी डिपॉजिट में कितना चेंज करने से मनी सप्लाई में कितना चेंज होगा, ये इसे कहते हैं हम मनी मल्टीप्लायर. So the conceptual part, increase in the CRR in the banks, increase in the SLR, increase in the banking habit of the people, increase in the population of the country. So the correct answer is answer C. देखिए मनी मल्टीप्लायर is inversely related to the CRR. So option A is wrong. Increase in SLR will decrease the loanable funds and it will not help improving the money multiplier. Again, option 2 is incorrect. If the population is increased but they do not open bank accounts, then money multiplier will not improve. So the option D is also correct. So by elimination, we get answer is C, increase in the banking habit of the people. Okay. Now the next question. With reference to the Indian economy, demand pull inflation can be cost increased by which of the following? देखिए, again this is a conceptual question. Let's go through the options. Expansionary policies, fiscal stimulus, inflation indexing wages, higher purchasing power, rising interest rates. With reference to the economy, demand pull inflation. डिमांड पुल इन्फ्लेशन क्या होता है? लेमैन लैंग्वेज में बात करें, डिमांड पुल इन्फ्लेशन होता है जब एग्रीगेट डिमांड is more than aggregate supply in the economy, then this phenomena is called demand pull inflation. So the correct answer for this will be answer 1, 2 and 4. देखिए ऑप्शन 5 देखते हैं, राइजिंग इंटरेस्ट रेट्स. राइजिंग इंटरेस्ट रेट्स जब होंगे तो डिमांड फॉर गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज इंक्रीज नहीं डिक्रीज होगी, तो इट विल नॉट कम अंडर डिमांड पुल इन्फ्लेशन. Let's take option number 3, inflation indexing wages. Inflation indexing wages, for example, जैसे अब आप भी आपकी सैलरी 100 रुपीज, नेक्स्ट ईयर इन्फ्लेशन ऑफ 5%, तो योर सैलरी विल इंक्रीज टू 5%, दैट इज 105, बट द ओवरऑल इफेक्ट in the aggregate demand will be 0. So this third option will be cut off, fifth option will be cut off, so answer will be 1, 2 and 4 only. Okay. Now the next question. With reference to India, consider the following statements. Retail investors through Demat account can invest in treasury bills and Government of India debt bonds in the primary market. The negotiated dealing systems ordering matching is a government securities trading platform of the Reserve Bank of India. The Central Depository Services Limited is a jointly promoted by the Reserve Bank of India and the Bombay Stock Exchange. Which of the statements given above are correct? देखिए ऐसे questions, these are of tough nature. Either you know it, either you don't know it. Okay, so let's find out the explanation of this answer. The answer is 1 and 2. Retail investors through Demat account and the negotiated dealing systems. If you want to look at the solutions, the RBI has an ownership with DIC, GC and some of the AFIs. So gut feeling says that statement 3 should be wrong. Upon going through the academic books, we find that CDSL is a depository set up by the Bombay Stock Exchange with 54% shareholding and remaining 46 is owned by various banks, namely SBI, Bank of Baroda, HDFC, etc., etc. So statement 3 is wrong. So we are 50-50 between A or B. Again, in both A and B options, the first statement is common, so we have to accept is as correct. But in August 2005, RBI introduced an anonymous screen-based ordering matching module on NDS called NDS OM. This is an order-driven electronic system where the participants can trade anonymously by placing their orders in the system or accepting the orders already placed by other participants. NDS OM is operated by the Clearing Corporation of India, CCIL, on behalf of the RBI. Direct access to the NDS system is currently available only to select financial institutions like commercial banks, primary dealers, etc. So statement 2 is right. Therefore, correct answer is B. Okay, the next question we'll go through. In India, the central banks function as the lender of the last resort. Usually refers to which of the following? Lending to trading and industry bodies when they fail to borrow from other sources, providing liquidity to the banks having a temporary crisis, lending to governments to finance budgetary deficits. Select the correct answer. देखिए इसका करेक्ट आंसर विल बी आंसर 2. Lender of the last word is the word used in context of RBI giving loans to banks. ठीक है, the option 2 is right. Loans to industries are not directly done by RBI. Okay, this point you should know that. At best, RBI will open some special windows to give loans to banks and NBFCs, who will then indirectly give loans to industries. Example LTRO, STRO, etc. So number 1 is wrong. Therefore, correct option is option B. 2 only, providing liquidity to the banks having a temporary crisis. ठीक है, conceptual question है again. Okay, next question. Consider the following statements. The governor of the RBI is appointed by the central government. Certain provisions in the Constitution of India give the central government the right to issue directions to the RBI in the public interest. The governor of the RBI draws his powers from the RBI Act. Which of the statements are correct? ओके, कुछ क्वेश्चंस में आप देख सकते हैं कि यूपीएससी आपको स्टेटमेंट्स में वर्ड्स में उलझा देता है, तो कुछ आंसर्स आपको ऐसे भी पता लग सकते हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल द फर्स्ट स्टेटमेंट, द गवर्नर ऑफ द आरबीआई अपॉइंटेड बाय द सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट, ये पता है सबको. सर्टन प्रोविजंस इन द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन of India gives the central government the right to issue directions to the RBI in the public interest. ये स्टेटमेंट थोड़ा डाउटफुल लग रहा है मुझे. The governor of the RBI draws his powers from the RBI Act. So according to me, the correct answer should be C, 1 and 3. Under section 7 of the RBI Act, central government can issue directions to RBI in public interest. This is why one of the reasons Urjit Patel resigned from RBI. But that central government gives that direction using provisions under RBI Act and not under Constitution. This was the main word you have to find out. So option 2 is wrong. A, B, D eliminated. So we are left with correct answer is C. Under RBI Act and not Constitution. Okay. Next question. With reference to the casual workers employed in India, consider the following statements. All casual workers are entitled to employees' provident fund coverage. Okay. All casual workers are entitled to regular working hours and overtime payment. Okay. The government can by notification specify that an establishment or industry shall pay wages only through its bank account. Which of the following statements are true? Okay, these type of questions, either you know it or you don't know it. So it's a moderate level question. So we'll look at the solution. Answer is D, 1, 2 and 3. EPFO Act does not differentiate between casual, contractual and regular employees. So all types of workers are eligible, entitled for it. So the first statement is right. Okay. Second statement is also right as per the code on wages. If you have read code on wages, then well and good. If not, third statement also right as per Payment of Wages Amendment 2017. In the aftermath of demonetization in 2016, the government was trying to encourage bank transfer. So this amendment was made in 2017. So answer is option D. All three are correct. Okay. So these type of questions you can say contemporary nature. Okay. Okay, next question. Which among the following steps is most likely to be taken at the time of an economic recession? Okay, first option, cut in tax rates accompanied by increase in interest rates, increase in expenditure on public projects, increase in tax rates accompanied by reduction of interest rates, reduction of expenditure on public projects. देखिए, it's a conceptual question again. ठीक है, at the time of an economic recession मतलब डिमांड एंड सप्लाई ऑफ गुड्स कम है या ज्यादा है, ये आप लोग गेस करेंगे. Let's look at the statements. Cut in tax rates accompanied by increase in interest rates. If we increase interest rates, the demand for goods and services will increase or decrease? This point should be noted. Increase in expenditure on public projects. Increase in tax rates accompanied by reduction of interest rates. Again, अगर tax rates increase होंगे तो demands of goods and services increase होंगे, decrease होंगे. Fourth point is reduction of expenditure on public projects. So I guess the correct option should be B. The government should spend more money using counter-cyclic fiscal policy strategies. So B is most appropriate. देखिए, increase of loan interest और increase of tax rates demand and supply of goods and services को decrease करेगा. So it should not be the measure. Economic survey ने बहुत बार highlight कर रखा है, government spending should be taken into account while during time of recession. So it's a very good question. Yes. Next question. Consider the following statements. Other things remaining unchanged. Market demand for a good might increase if price of its substitute increases, price of its complement increases, the good is an inferior good and income of the consumer increases, its price falls. देखिए, कुछ ऐसे क्वेश्चंस भी होते हैं, माना कि कंसेप्चुअल क्वेश्चन है, बट कभी कभार एक स्टेटमेंट को हम ऐसे कर सकते हैं कि बाकी ऑप्शंस हम स्ट्राइक ऑफ कर सकते हैं. प्राइस ऑफ इट्स सब्सिट्यूट इंक्रीजेस. अच्छा, ये थर्ड स्टेटमेंट पढ़िए. गुड इज एन इंफीरियर गुड एंड इनकम ऑफ द कंज्यूमर इंक्रीजेस. अगर आपको इंफीरियर गुड का कंसेप्ट पता है, अगर इनकम ऑफ द कंज्यूमर इंक्रीजेस, द डिमांड फॉर इंफीरियर गुड्स इंक्रीजेस और डिक्रीजेस. यू विल बी टेलिंग दैट. When a person becomes rich, he will reduce the consumption of inferior goods such as non-branded clothes and maize. So the demand for such goods will decline with increase in income. देखिए, अगर हमने थर्ड स्टेटमेंट ऑब्वियसली गलत है और B, D, C को हमने एलिमिनेट कर लिया, तो वी गेट आंसर A ओनली, तो 1 and 4. So the answer for this question is A, 1 and 4. तो ऐसे भी आप क्वेश्चन सॉल्व कर सकते हैं. दिस इज कॉल्ड स्मार्ट स्ट्रैटेजी. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. विद रेफरेंस टू अर्बन कोऑपरेटिव बैंक्स इन इंडिया, कंसिडर द फॉलोइंग स्टेटमेंट्स. They are supervised and regulated by local boards set up by the state governments. They can issue equity shares and preference shares. They were brought under the purview of the Banking Regulation Act 1949 through an amendment in 1996. Which of the statements given below are correct? देखिए, the correct answer for this question is B, 2 and 3. Banking Regulation Ordinance Act regulatory powers over UCBs rely solely to RBI and not state government. So statement 1 is wrong. It is governed by RBI, not state government. So statement 1 is wrong. So your correct answer is 2 and 3. That is option B. Next question. The Indian government bond yields are influenced by which of the following? Actions of the United States Federal Reserve, actions of the Reserve Bank of India, inflation and short-term interest rates. I think for me it's a tough question. Let's look at one more time. Indian government bond yields are influenced by which of the following? So let's try to discuss actions of the RBI. देखो, RBI के दो मेन फंक्शंस होते हैं, inflation control and banker to the government. Banker to the government, it acts as sell and purchase of government bonds and securities, etc., to tackle inflation in the economy. The Indian government bond yields are influenced. If RBI takes this action, then it affects the bond yields. So option 2, you can say, can be right. Inflation and short-term interest rates. देखिए, जब इंडियन गवर्नमेंट बॉन्ड यील्ड्स इन्फ्लुएंस करती है तो इन्फ्लेशन और शॉर्ट टर्म वजह से भी इन्वेस्टर्स का बाय और सेलिंग और एग्जिटिंग एंट्री का भी मोड बनता है तो यू कैन इनडायरेक्टली से इन्फ्लेशन एंड शॉर्ट टर्म इंटरेस्ट रेट से भी बॉन्ड यील्ड्स इन्फ्लुएंस हो सकते हैं. ओके, लेट्स टॉक अबाउट द एक्शंस ऑफ द यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स फेडरल रिजर्व. सेम विद आरबीआई, यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स फेडरल रिजर्व भी अपना बाइंग एंड सेलिंग ऑफ सिक्योरिटीज करती है. क्वांटिटी ईजिंग, टेपरिंग, यू हैव heard of the terms. ठीक है, sometimes when, नहीं, most of the time, मतलब if United States Federal Reserve it cuts its rates, so sometimes RBI it takes actions, sometimes it doesn't take any action. So again, this point is also very doubtful whether it affects Indian government bond yields or not. That's why I'm also very confused. Most of the people are also confused. So let's wait for the UPSC for the official answer key. I think it's between B and D. Should be between 2 only and 1 to 3 only. Let's see what UPSC decides. Then we'll let you know very soon. Okay, next question. Consider the following. Foreign currency convertible bonds, foreign institutional investments with certain conditions, global depository receipts, non-resident external deposits. Which of the above can be included in FDI? That is foreign direct investments. I think it's again somehow a tough question for me. So let's look at the answer. Foreign currency convertible bonds. Previously in 2022, UPSC had asked a similar question on FDI. FDI is associated with equity investments and FDI word is not associated with debt investments. Therefore, by default, bond cannot be FDI. But convertible bond debenture could be converted to equity shares. So statement 1 should be right. Okay, first point. Foreign institutional investment with certain conditions. Foreign institutional investments is separate category, also known as FPI, foreign portfolio investors investment. It is not FDI by default, but here it says with certain conditions. So statement 2 may be right if FII invest is convertible debentures. Then it's counted as FDI subject to certain limit. So there are very ifs and buts in this type of question. So that's why I told you it's very tough question. So statement 2 is correct. Global depository receipts. If Indian company issued GDR, that is foreign investors indirectly invest in Indian shares. So statement 3 could be FDI. Then comes the next point, non-resident external deposit in Indian banks. Indian bank may give such deposits as loans, so statement 4 cannot be termed as FDI. So statement 4 should be wrong. So according to the concepts, answer should be 1, 2 and 3 only. Okay, again, it's a very tough question. You can expect these type of questions from UPSC. Okay, the next question. Consider the following statements. The effect of the devaluation of a currency is that it necessarily, first point, improves the competitiveness of the domestic exports in the foreign markets, increase the foreign value of the domestic currency, improves the trade balance. Which of the above statements are correct? Okay, again, it's a 11th, 12th economy concept. You must have read that. When there is devaluation of the currency, our exports, it increases or decreases? So the correct answer should be A only. Why A only? The improves the competitiveness of the domestic exports in the foreign market. जब करेंसी डिवैल्यू होती है तो हमारे एक्सपोर्ट्स इंक्रीज होते हैं. ओके, अबाउट द सेकेंड पॉइंट, इंक्रीज द फॉरेन वैल्यू ऑफ द डोमेस्टिक करेंसी. जैसे एक्सप्लेनेशन जैसे मैंने दी है, जैसे फॉर एग्जाम्पल नाउअडेज अ डॉलर इज अराउंड 77. सो फॉर कैलकुलेशन पर्पसेस आई टेकन $70. सपोज $1 is 70 rupees and our currency is devalued. Now the dollar is 90 rupees. What will happen if we divide $1.70? Here the foreign value of domestic currency will be 0.014 जब थी 70 रुपीज. जब रुपी 90 हो गया, now it will be reduced to 0.011. So it has increased or decreased? Obviously it has decreased. So the second point we were dealing, increase the foreign value of the domestic currency, it will decrease. So your second point will be false. So the correct answer to this question is answer A, 1 only. Okay, next question. Which one of the following effects of creation of black money in India has been the main cause of worry to the government of India? Okay, these are the options: diversion of resources, investments and product activities, large donations to political parties and growth of regionalism, loss of revenue to the state exchequer due to tax evasion. देखिए, these type of questions, it's very easy and it's a common sense question, but most of the time common sense is most uncommon, you can say. So according to me, correct answer should be D, loss of revenue to the state exchequer due to tax evasion, because black money tax evasion reduces the revenue collection of the government for running welfare schemes. This problem has been highlighted multiple times by the economic survey. So D is the most appropriate answer. Next question. Which one of the following is likely to be one of the most inflationary in its effects? Repayment of public debt, borrowing from the public to finance a budget deficit, borrowing from the banks to finance a budget deficit, creation of new money to finance a budget deficit. Again, it's a 11th-12th class concept of NCERT. Creation of new money to finance a budget deficit, printing of new currency. अगर हम print करेंगे new currency और demand goods and services की नहीं होगी, तो it will lead to inflation or else hyperinflation also. So the correct answer should be D. Printing extra money will create a high level of inflation, hyperinflation, if there are not enough goods and services in the market for purchase. Therefore, correct answer is D. Okay, that's all for today, guys. In the next video, I'll be discussing with you the 2020 economy questions. Okay, if you like the video, please subscribe, share, and don't forget to press bell icon. Thank you. Have a nice day.